Hello gamers, today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the M3A1 PDW. This is a very good gun, but it's also very difficult to use, so hopefully this comprehensive guide will pretty much let you know how to use this thing and how to pop off with it because it is really strong. First off, let's look at the attachments. You're going to want to use any optic of personal preference. I personally use the OKP7, although I've used reflex, delta, stuff like that. Next, I use muzzle brake. You could use compensator or maybe even muzzle booster, folding grip, stubby grip, even chainsaw grip is really good because this thing has incredible hip fire. So you could use that, maybe vertical grip as well because that helps with your hip fire. And for ammo, personally, I would never use special or AP. Plus P is decent. I bought it, but I don't really use it because it does give you a little bit more recoil, but your ranges are slightly better and your muzzle velocity is slightly better because we'll get into muzzle velocity. That is a pretty big downside on here. Type 37 conversion isn't really that good in my opinion because it doesn't change your RPM, but it makes you have less damage with like slightly less recoil and more reserve, and you still 4-hit all ranges and you can 2-hit to the head and otherwise 3-shot. But when you can 2-hit basically anywhere on the body, it's not really worth it to lose that much stuff. Hollow points would give you a 2-hit anywhere on the body, but I don't really recommend that, and I'll explain why. Because the multis on this thing make it basically a 2-hit anywhere on the body anyways. And tracerless ammo it's whatever. It's kind of like more or less useless, but you can use it if you have it. So let's talk about how to use this gun effectively with the recoil. This is going to be a little bit shorter than what I did on the G3 and the M231. Go watch those videos if you want to, because this gun has incredibly low recoil, as you can see. Like, look at that. Very accurate. That's with any loadout pretty much, but if you use plus P and muzzle booster, this will have a little bit more recoil, but we'll talk about that in just a second and why I would recommend those and why I wouldn't. But as you can see, like, very accurate hip fire. It doesn't shoot very fast, and that's basically the main downside of this gun, but I wouldn't say that's really that big of a deal, to be completely honest with you. Like, that just makes it more controllable. And yes, you're not going to kill super fast if you don't land your shots accurately, but like the ammo conservation you have is crazy. So let's talk about stats. This thing does 48 to 25 with a 1.1 times torso multi and a 1.65 headshot multi. This allows it to do 80 damage to the head pretty far, and allows it to do 53 damage to the torso, which basically means that with one torso and one limb shot, you can kill somebody at up to about 50 studs, which is very strong. You can 2-hit to the torso farther. You can kill with one headshot and one limb very far. The only time you won't 2-hit up to 50 studs is with 2 limbs, but if you hit one torso and one limb, you will still 2-hit. So basically, you're going to 2-hit in basically every single scenario. And unlike the L2A3 45 conversion, this has a very good max damage range, literally double the L2A3's 45 conversion. It has less RPM though, and I could make a review video or a comparison video of those two guns. If you want to see that, please leave a comment. Overall, I'd say that this one is better. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I'd say that overall it has a lot of reasons to be used over it, and the L2A3 like cancels a lot of stuff just to be used. The main thing that will be a problem is the very low muzzle velocity that 45 ACP allows for, and you're going to really notice that hitting shots in LRC, although it's a 4-hit all ranges to the limbs, is going to be a little bit difficult, but it's definitely doable. Plus P allows you to get a little bit more muzzle velocity, and that can be worth it, but it does give you a little bit more recoil, so I don't really use it. I've bought it early, but I don't really like it that much, so I don't really use that. And muzzle booster is kind of the same thing, except that instead of giving you more muzzle velocity, it gives you more RPM, but only like 30 and at the cost of a lot of recoil. So I prefer to have this thing as a laser beam versus having a little bit more RPM. Although it's decently accurate even with plus P and the muzzle booster, just not quite as accurate. So also, you can really rely on the hip fire on this gun. Like, if you use chainsaw grip, it will be insanely accurate, but even without chainsaw grip, it's so accurate. Like, that time I hit 2 limb shots, so it did like 96 damage to him. You can't load a +1 into this thing, but That's a little bit annoying, but it's not actually like a big deal. I just always load a +1 into all my guns because it has an open bolt, I believe. This thing is just very hard hitting. I love it. Hollow points, the reason that I wouldn't use hollow points is because, one, they don't really add that much except you can 2-hit to the limbs, which you couldn't before, but you could basically 2-hit in every single other scenario. But you lose your torso multi, a lot of damage in LRC, a hit to kill in LRC, your headshot multi as well, like a lot of it, because you had a 1.65 headshot multi, which if you didn't know, that's 0.25 more than a regular headshot multi has, so it is a huge difference in terms of damage. Dude, I'm getting suppressed from the MG3 from back here. That's how stupid high the MG3 suppression is. How? Why is suppression like this, dude? See, I'm still able to kill people pretty far away, but you could probably tell that muzzle velocity is not that good. It's basically CAC SRR or AS Val, so that's not that much. AS Val muzzle velocity is not really the best for killing people in far ranges. That's why +B is really good on this thing, but who cares? I don't like it because I don't like recoil on this gun. In my opinion, this gun is really, like, in a good place. It could go for a little bit of a buff, because, like, AK-47 hollow points kind of does it better in some ways. But in my opinion, I don't think this gun needs a buff. I think some of the other guns like it, like the AK-47 hollow points and RPK-70 and RPK hollow points, that's about it. Those guns just need a little bit of a nerf. But this gun is really good as is, and I don't think it really needs any changes. The real main downside here, I think, is just the low muzzle velocity and the 450 RPM. Everything about this gun otherwise is really, really strong. Like the fact that it can do 53 torso, which means it can probably 2-hit torso to like 60 studs, which is a lot farther than a lot of the other guns in this game. Obviously, like, maybe beat out by a couple of battle rifles, but maybe not at the same time, because I can't really think of any. The only like 2-hit to the torso battle rifle I can really think of right now is like the ECR, which I guess is a little bit in a different bracket, the MC51 SD, and that thing can only 2-hit torso to like 20 studs. As you can see, it's not really the best for being like a pocket DMR, even though it can 4-hit all ranges. I'm still hitting stuff though. I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm killing anything right now. So yeah, that just about does it for the video. If you guys figured out how to use the M3A1, good, because that was basically what I was trying to do in this video. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like and a sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.